Welcome to another installment of Property Vlogs. Guys, I'm here showing my face today in this redesign video because when I watched this Architectural Digest video about 3 designers who completely transformed this luxury bathroom, I realized I had to jump on board and do my own version. I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, what I went through my design process, and how an architect would redesign the photo in the picture. So stay tuned and watch the whole thing. We'll go through the entire process together.
These 3 interior designers have been given a photograph of an empty, luxury bathroom. They have free rein to design it in any way they please. No clients, no restrictions, just blank space.
So, as you've heard in the design challenge rules, they have free reign of the project. I too will redesign the same bathroom and create what we can refer to as the 4th redesign. I'll also show you a rare behind the scenes look at what an architect does to come up with amazing designs, and I'll unveil my own luxury bathroom design at the end of the video. So let's do it. Let's redesign this bathroom, and we'll start off by looking at the first designer, and her name is Laura. So let's go straight into what she's got.
So when I'm looking at this space, I'm seeing beautiful windows, which I adore. The shower feels like an odd placement to me, and the bath sort of feels like it's, wedged against the shower a little bit.
Not only does everything seem wedged together, it seems like everything is placed around the perimeter of the room, and there's nothing going on in the middle, and because of that, the current layout isn't very imaginative. Now that we have an idea of what the first designer thinks, let's look at what the second designer's first impressions are.
It's very white. It's a white box, and it's not exciting at all.
I agree. The room is very white and bare. There's a large amount of underutilized space everywhere. There's no color in the room, and I feel like it's missed an opportunity to add some personality and vibrancy to the space. Okay, now let's look at what the third designer thinks of the space.
I think the main thing is the layout. This is a luxury bathroom for the size that it is. And then just having like one single sink, it's a big problem. And then what it looks like, some sort of like changing table here.
So Lulu's right here. This is supposed to be a luxury bathroom, yet there's only one sink, meaning only one person can brush their teeth or complete their 10-step skincare routine at a time. The phrase "wait your turn" and luxury living don't mix, guys, so that definitely needs to be changed. So I'm going to go straight into my initial review of the space. My own personal view is that the space is very, very bare. It's boring and it looks basic. Let's just call it out for what it is, right? The colors leave so much to the imagination, and the windows, even though they are large, they're not very practical, and they leave the space feeling very exposed. There doesn't seem to be any sign of where the toilet would go, or whether there are any luxury amenities such as spaces for decor, toiletries, and most of all, it just doesn't feel luxurious. I'll definitely be looking to see where I can improve on these elements. So from AD's video, the 3 interior designers have already come up with their own designs. So let's take a look at these before we go straight into my design. And let's start with Alvin's design this time.
Looking at the space, I want to add color, warmth, and texture. For the floors and for the walls, I would do this beautiful marble that has a lot of movement in it. It has creams, grays, a little bit of gold, a little bit of tan, and I think that will really set the tone for the space. I would bring the sinks together to create one large vanity, and it will be out of the marble as well, just keeping the continuity and the flow of the space. I think making it one piece is more functional, so you don't have to go to opposite sides of the bathroom just to wash your hands. Everything is centrally located in one place.
So I am looking at Alvin's design and I am critiquing it, kind of adding my own opinion. This is just my opinion, guys. So let's start off with his design. So it's definitely more colorful than the original, and the marble is a good way to add a luxury feel to spaces for sure. After all, marble is pretty much synonymous with wealth and luxury. Everyone just thinks marble equals luxury. However, the shower and the bath are still in that awkward location. So when I look at the before and after, I kind of think that someone must have told him he had to keep the layout exactly as it was, when in fact the brief is completely open, without restrictions, guys. So if I was the client and I wanted my designer to wow me, I'd be somewhat disappointed On the other hand, if I wanted them to redecorate my space on a budget, I'd probably be impressed because there doesn't seem to be a lot of work involved. So maybe he was being budget conscious, but I think a lot more could have been done to the ceiling, the floor, and the layout to make it more attractive. With that being said, let's go straight into Lula's design and see what she's thought of.
I wanting to bring in water in this bathroom, to have it all be about like the different stages of water. The ceiling, it's this fluted textural cast, and then the shape of the ceiling, it's curved, and then you see this like trim detail around it. So all the water that is gonna accumulate in the bathroom, it's gonna drip to the sides of the wall, and then through that channel that you see on the wall, it's gonna come down to the floor where there's also another channel like wrapping it around.
So when I look at Lula's design, I'm instantly transformed to a different place. She's completely re-envisioned the space altogether, and I love what she's done to it. The space feels very indulgent, with details such as the steps leading up to the tub and the large opening and rainfall feature. It's definitely a treat for the eyes. My only criticism is that the room has a few impractical features, as there's no mention of how the tub is filled when it doesn't rain, or what you do if you want to close the opening on the top due to cold weather. Does that mean the tub can no longer be filled? Obviously, I'm viewing this from like a UK perspective, and our weather's always very intermittent. You know, it's raining one minute and it's sunshine the next. You don't want to be in your bathtub and then it starts raining, cold rain over you. But what if I want to also clean the bathtub? Will I have to carry buckets of water back and forth from the basins to the tub? With all that being said, this is still my favorite design of the three, as it's the most luxurious feeling one in my opinion, and that's what the brief asked for. So enough about Lula's design. Let's look at Laura's design and see whether you guys think that, you know, she's done a better job.
I think that this space really needs a beautiful bathtub. When you're first walking in, there's all these views as you're seeing outside. And I think that we can also have another focal point in this space, and that is, so if we create like a frame around the shower, almost inspired a little bit by like a British telephone booth, and you can see in and out, and it just makes it feel very nice and light and airy, but it definitely has its own distinct space, and it doesn't just get lost in the room. I think that the space came together absolutely beautifully. I would want to be in this bathroom all the time. It's a retreat, which is ultimately what I think we all want bathrooms to be.
So I love Laura's excitement for this design. Ultimately, when someone designs for you, you want them to say at the end of it that they would personally love that space. You don't want someone who's a bit detached from the design. But let me offer my opinion, right? So I think the bathroom has many elements that I personally like, such as the wood on the ceiling and the bathtub choice. However, I still feel that the room is still a bit sparse and empty. The rug helps to make the space look more cozy, but I'm not sure if everything works well together, such as the traditional wooden vanity, which is very bulky, and that contrasts with the stark white shower enclosure, which is very fragile and delicate, and the modern shower stool. I like where she was going with the plants, but overall feel that this design held back quite a bit, as the awkward layout is still generally the same as before. I think this is a good design. I'm just not personally wowed by it. So now that I've kind of gone through the previous designers, I'm going to talk about my own personal design philosophy. I'll start off by sketching the existing bathroom layout so I know what I'm working with. So the existing layout has a bend in one of the walls, which gives the appearance of it being the space being eaten into. It has a separate shower enclosure and large windows offering views from two perspectives. A separate sink, single, and a countertop and freestanding bathtub. I have to assume the door is at the bottom of the floor plan because you can't see it in the view. Now, I want to create a bathroom with a range of experiences, so I'm going to show you my design. I want to have a dramatic entrance through double doors and a separate enclosed toilet. Makes the space very functional. A shower with a horizontal slot window at a high level for privacy whilst retaining expansive views. and a double vanity toilet with its own sink and enclosure and bathing zone with a private garden accessible from the ensuite with glass doors to bring in the outdoor inwards. So I'm just going to draw the glass enclosure, and then you're going to see how I kind of remove the wall to bring in the outdoors inwards. Lastly, I want to have shelving for decor, just below the glass doors in the little nook on the bottom right corner. And then I have ambient lighting throughout on the ceiling and in various spots across the room. I'm going to also share with you my mood board next for the materials that I'm going to use in the space. Now, all of these materials are inspired by nature, and you're going to see that's a common theme through my design. Okay, mood board done, layout done. Now I'm going to start by modeling the space. Let's start off by looking at the existing layout and remove everything that's just not working for us. We remove that bulky shower enclosure and remove the large invasive windows. I want to start creating the zones, but not blocking them off like the previous layout did, but using a change of materials. I'll show you that in a second. I'll also add my own new windows, opting for large wall-to-wall horizontal windows. So I'm applying materials here at the moment because I really want to define the zones. But in a second, you'll see how I play with the tiles in green and then the wood materials. So I'm going to draw in my slot window now, which also works as a recessed shower shelf. So it's really good for putting toiletries there. And obviously, whilst you're showering, you can get a bit of that natural light and that connection with nature without at all being exposed. Now, a large vanity area with the wood paneling around it will really frame the sink area. And I'm using a very neutral color because there's a lot of change in material elsewhere. We don't need to have a very contrasting vanity. And I'm also using frosted glass in certain areas to carve out an external garden area. So it's external, internal. So I've brought it inwards into the floor plan, but it's actually completely outdoors, which allows you to have that experience, going out between out and in, really. I wanted to bring in this element of nature by cutting into the floor plan because I think it's very important when you wake up or when you bathe or you experience the experience of washing and getting ready, and you have that noise in the background of the birds, the leaves rustling. It's a beautiful and serene kind of experience to have. So I've used tall bamboo type plants in flower boxes, so it's very easy to maintain, move around depending on how much privacy and where you need it. And I've also kind of extended the glazing, made a feature out of it. Yeah, why not have double doors opening outwards? That's very dramatic. So the striking metal frame doors can be carried out as a theme throughout the whole room. And I use these to create the separate WC in the shower enclosure. So you can see how that's done. And then I've added a freestanding tap around the bath area, and then planting. And I'm going to work on the external planting just to add that extra luxury as well in a second. And you'll see me kind of rotate and pan around the room just to see how it looks from different angles. It's really good to see what the room looks like from so many different angles, and the software allows me to do that. So I'm going to just frame the views by putting tall plants that when you're viewing them from inside, they really create these private angles, these perspectives. I also want to add a focal point using a large circular table and a dark wood green to create contrast. And I'll also think about the practicalities of the bathroom and add towel rails, towel holders, and spaces for toiletries. And so now that's put together, let's unveil my luxury bathroom design any moment now. Yeah. You're just going to see me kind of add in the extra touches, but I will show you the final finish in a second. So I'm just going to add another recessed shelf by the bathing area, by the bathtub, so that you have a place to put fragrances and more toiletries and build that straight into the decor. Okay, so we are finished. Now, as a reminder, I'd like to show you the before, and now I'm going to show you my luxury bathroom reveal. So instantly the space is a lot more visually interesting. We have many green and natural elements coming through because the use of materials, and also there are several sources of light coming through. I love how the emphasis is placed on bringing the outside in without compromising on privacy. I've done this using a combination of frosted and clear glazing, so we now have varying degrees of privacy within the same space without compromising on privacy. There's a luxury/resort style feel to the entire room. There are several little nooks and angles which provide unique experiences of the space, from the bathing experience to the showering experience. There's a decor nook and storage space at the back, which also has ambient lighting for little pieces here and there, and the space has 3 aspects or views which allow you to really appreciate the movement of the sun as it dances across the space. I love how the bathroom is both moody and bright depending on which part of it you're looking at, and overall I think it definitely feels super luxurious, spacious, intimate, private and bright, and also functional. So I hope you enjoyed my take on this unique redesign challenge. It was a lot of fun for me, as you can tell. If you found inspiration or have thoughts on these designs, please leave them in the comments below and subscribe to join us on our next redesign. I'd also love to know which of the luxury bathroom designs you would most love to have. This video is the second of its kind. You can watch the first video where I transformed a living room, this one right here, into, well, from this to this by clicking on the pop-up. And if you're on the market to buy your own home, why not view one of the 150 house tours that we've done in the past by clicking here. See you in our next video. Bye.